If you have a high school student at HISD, we hope that you're listening right now. A budget proposal that will be voted on later this year includes cutting the amount the district spends on each high schooler in half.
Yeah, this is a big deal. So what else is being cut? Chaz Miller is joining us live here inside the studio with some of the numbers. Chaz.
Chauncey, yeah, HISD has said if they continue on this current path, they will have a budget deficit of around $280 million by the time fiscal year 2025 rolls around. They're about to vote on 2024. So they are trying to start by cutting out $62 million from this year's budget to chip away at that bigger number. Let's talk about where some of those costs are going to come from. At this point, it's just proposals. I'll show you the first one right here. The district currently is giving money to its schools based on attendance that was pre-pandemic levels. Because attendance has dropped since then, they're not required to give as much money to those schools, so they're going to get rid of that because attendance is down. That means $29 million less they would have to send to those schools once that gets lifted. They're also giving extra money to smaller school districts to try to compete with bigger ones. They're trying to take $8 million out of that part of the budget. In addition to that, you mentioned the high school kids trying to cut what they give to them in half. That's one thing. And then something that affects the students less directly, they're trying to cut $15 million out of things at their central administration. But here's the deal. None of this really includes what's going on with the takeover. The other thing that's worth mentioning is that the current board, well, they're the ones proposing this. It's going to be voted on June the 8th. The takeover happens June the 1st. So this is all being done by people who won't actually be there by the time the takeover happens. Now, one thing that could always happen is a bond, but Rebecca Carballo, who is a reporter with our partners at the Houston Chronicle, she covers HISD. She said even the district has expressed the thought that putting something out there right now to be voted on might not be well received by the public.
I'm sure the takeover is in part like the reason to do this, but sort of like this loss in confidence has been an issue for years, probably since 2017 when they were first put on notice that the district could be taken over. And I know in the past there have been discussions of should we put out a bond, and then them kind of sort of backing off of it because of previous scandals with like trustee misconduct and sort of the things that led up to the takeover.
And guys, it's kind of interesting, the fact that all this is being proposed and done by people who won't be there in a few months. I asked her, have they really reflected that in terms of these meetings? She said it was mentioned once, but other than that, the current administration, it's been business as usual. Live in the studio, I'm Chaz Miller, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.